Hello everybody, Maven here, and you read the title. I probably titled it something along the lines of, oh my god, this is too much fun, or something like that. Now, oh my god is not a phrase that's in my vocabulary. I've said it once in my entire life, and it was on accident when I was playing Borderlands 2 with a friend. I prefer oh my arc, as you can tell by my background. Maybe one or two of you will get the reference. Anyways, besides the point, I just wanted to emphasize on how much fun today's build is. It's one of the funnest builds ever. Now, I recently recovered my Mask of Fealty build for the third time on the channel with the Edge of Fate updates, and that is the build I dubbed one of the funnest builds ever. And today we're doing another Stasis Hunter build, and this one I think is not as strong as the Mask of Fealty build, but it definitely wins in the fun factor. So we're not using the Mask of Fealty today, we're using the Mask of Bakris, an exotic that got a massive overhaul in the Edge of Fate, and we're also using the Wicked Implement, another exotic that got a big overhaul. These two exotics are two peas in a pod. They go together like bread and butter, and I think Bungie intended on that and was waiting for somebody to figure it out. You pair these two things together with a stat overhaul as well as a particular subclass setup, and things get a little bit chaotic, and I think you can probably tell. So let me break it down for you. Hope you enjoy. Shout out to our sponsor, Advanced GG, the #1 gaming supplement in the world. Use code MAVEN at checkout for 10% off. Link down below. Thank you. Isn't this just the best drip you've ever seen in Destiny? Alright, so let's read the revamped Mask of Bakris. This is why you have a Stasis or Arc Super equipped. They left that part out like it used to, but it still does work with Arc Supers. Your dodge becomes a longer range, faster moving shift that partially cloaks you during use. After shifting, your Stasis and Arc weapons gain a stacking damage bonus for a short time, which is 10 seconds. Final blows with this bonus active refund class ability energy. So let me demonstrate that for you here in the firing range. So I'm gonna dodge and then I'm gonna kill an enemy, and you can see I get like about 60% of my dodge energy refunded. And then I can just go kill another target, because while you get kills, while that 10-second light shift buff is active, it will do the class ability refund, and then you can dodge again and repeat the process. Kill 2 adds dodge, kill 2 adds dodge, and keep looping that. And you can see that subsequent times I dodge, I get another stack of light shift. Stacks up to 3 times, each stack giving you a 10% damage bonus to your Arc and Stasis weapons. Now what we really want to achieve is we want to be able to dodge after every single kill. So how can we do that? Well, there is the Winter Shroud aspect that says that when you dodge, you slow targets that are nearby, and also slowing a target boosts your class ability regenerate. And then you can also have Whisper of Refraction. This is defeating slow to frozen targets, grants you class ability energy. So if we put that in the mix, we can dodge near a target, get that slow AoE from Winter Shroud, and then kill the target. And you can see that it's extremely close, and I get like 95% of my dodge energy back. And if I collect a Stasis Shard, I will get my full recharge refunded, because we do have an artifact mod called Refresh Threads. It says when you pick up an elemental pickup, it gives you energy to your least charged ability, which in this case is going to be our dodge. So then you'll get a full refund if you can collect a shard. And because of Grim Harvest, defeating a slowed or frozen target creates 2 Stasis Shards that then track towards us with Whisper of Conduction. So it's simple enough to get a full recharge back when we dodge, but it could be better. We want that guaranteed full recharge every single time we dodge. And that brings us to the overhauled Wicked Implement. This thing is perfect for the Mask of Bakris. So the overhaul that gave this thing is they just upped its RPM to a 260 RPM and gave it 1 more in the magazine to compensate for that. Now this thing does several different things that are excellent for this build. First of all, its intrinsic trait, Creeping Attrition, gets online after landing just a few precision hits. It's pretty easy given its super fast RPM, and when the perk is online, just landing crits will apply slow stacks to the target, which will then, as you know, proc Winter Shroud to boost our class ability regenerate. And then we have the perk Tithing Harvest. It says while Creeping Attrition is active, destroying stasis crystals or landing precision final blows creates a stasis shard. This shard returns to you, and collecting stasis shards refills the magazine. Now this stasis shard that returns to you, it's the little stasis shard that could. It does not give up until it reaches you. You could kill a target from 100 meters away, and this stasis shard will fly across the map to get to you. And then if we take a look at the catalyst, it gives it Headstone. And remember, destroying a crystal also creates a stasis shard. So 1 for the precision kill and 1 for breaking the crystal. That's 2 shards that are just gonna fly across the map to you. And then also, collecting stasis shards gradually overflows the magazine. I think it's by chunks of 4 at a time, and you can overflow up to 40 in the mag. Now, taking a look here in the firing range, you can see how these two exotics interact. First, I get Creeping Attrition online, so I can proc Winter Shroud from any distance, and then whenever I get a crit kill or kill a crystal, it's going to make that shard that flies to you to proc Refresh Threads to guarantee that you get that little jump from 95% dodge energy up to 100. Sometimes it's going to take a moment, sometimes you're going to have to like wait for that shard to come to you, but it is just going to take one kill guaranteed, given it was a crit kill or given that she had Creeping Attrition online. And that is why the Wicked Implement has the best synergy with Mask of Bakris over any other exotic, given you can do the same thing technically with the Will Given form on Aegir Scepter, but it's so needy. Special ammo is scarce this season, and also you gotta have your super up. So Wicked Implement is definitely the best thing here. So now that we have achieved this guaranteed dodge charge back on every final blow, why is that so significant? Why is it so important? What does that achieve for us? Well, it's huge because of the stat overhaul in the Edge of Fate. As you can see by my stats here, I have 168 invested into my class ability stat. And if you can reach 200, even better. Every point you invest over 100 is going to give you a chunk of overshield whenever you use your class ability. And as long as you can get a kill within the 10 seconds of your light shift buff and be able to dodge again, you're going to get that overshield refreshed every time and just be able to tank so much damage. Like, I think you'll pretty much never see me get into the red health or get my shields broken at all during the background gameplay in today's video, because you just tank so much. You just get a kill, dodge, get a kill, dodge, get free overshields every time. It's amazing. And another reason that the stat overhaul was so significant for Stasis Hunter in specific is because of the way that the melee stat works. I have 100 melee stat. Now, if you invest any less than 100 melee, when you use your Gambler's Dodge, you won't get your full melee charge refunded unless you have 100 melee stat invested. But this interacts differently with melees that have more than one charge, such as our Stasis Shurikens. So when I dodge, I'm not just getting one Shuriken charge refunded, I'm getting like 1 1/3 refunded. So every time I'm doing this kill dodge thing with the Bakris, I'm able to use Gambler's Dodge in the process to get a bunch of Shuriken energy and just spam Shurikens left and right. So not only is this build infinite dodges, but it's also infinite Shurikens. Now, these Shurikens are no fealty Shurikens. The Mask of Fealty build definitely was crazy with the Shurikens because they also created crystals and bounced around the place to create more crystals. These are just base Shurikens, but still, they're very good for what they are. They've been buffed several times over the past couple years, and they're just super, super good. And that segues us to our next part of the build, the Theodolite Grenade Launcher. It is the new mountaintop micro missile frame grenade launcher in the energy slot. It's an arc weapon, and our role here is Reconstruction and Rolling Storm, so we can add like an element of bolt charge to this build as well. So Reconstruction is going to overflow it to 2 in the magazine, so most times when we pull it out, we can just do some heavy burst damage. It's great against frozen targets because, you know, this being a stasis build, when you freeze something, they'll sit still, so you can actually land your GL shot on them, because typically on a moving target, it's very difficult to land your shots. So just throw a couple shurikens or, you know, shoot something with Creeping Attrition, they freeze, you pull out your Theodolite, shoot a couple shots, and it does really good damage. However, we do happen to have a temporary weapon mod for Season 27 called a Temporal Loader. It says this weapon loads ammo from its reserves when dealing damage to targets that are slowed, frozen, or suspended. Now, this doesn't work with the second shot loaded in by Reconstruction. It only works on the initial one shot in the mag that would otherwise put you to 0. So I'm going to shoot a shot and then throw a Stasis Shuriken to proc that instance for Temporal Loader, and then I can shoot 2 shots back to back. And I can also do that with my Dusk-Filled Grenade, and I can do that with my super and just always shoot 2 in the mag every time I reload. It's like Ambitious Assassin, but you don't have to proc it. So having that infinite Stasis Shuriken spam build is great for the Theodolite, so whenever there's a major, this thing just bursts them down pretty easily. So now with that explained, let's go ahead and break down the rest of our subclass and mods and all the specifics. So the other fragment that we haven't talked about yet is Whisper of Chains, and then there's also an artifact mod, Elemental Coalescence. These two things work the same way. Defeating targets while you have Frost Armor has a chance to create a stasis shard. Coalescence does the same thing. It says a chance, but that's not right because it's not a chance. It's a progress bar, and here's how it actually works. So it's like in the background, there's like a meter filling up that you can't see. And miners grant 34% progress towards that, elites grant 67% progress, and anything beyond that is a guaranteed chance to spawn a stasis shard. So these two things are just generating so many stasis shards, which is great for our melee regen and our just ability spam in general, because like we talked about earlier with refresh threads. Next up, we got Whisper of Rhyme to increase the duration and our stack count up to 8 stacks of Frost Armor. And this is important because the initial thing that actually inspired this build is I was looking at the artifact mod Frigid Glare, and I was thinking to myself, I haven't even done anything with these stasis-based artifact mods. I want to make a build that uses these. So like, what weapon could really use Frigid Glare? And that's when I stumbled upon Wicked Implement, and then that's when I stumbled upon Bakris. So that's how this kind of snowballed into this build I'm showing you today. So Frigid Glare says, while you have Frost Armor, Stasis Precision Final Blows cause combatants to release a freezing burst. So it's basically turning your Wicked Implement into an Aegir Scepter. So it's pretty nasty. It just freezes everything in the vicinity. And with this build, especially with those stasis shards from Wicked Implement just flying across the map to you, you pretty much always have Frost Armor active. So it's pretty effortless, and it's just gonna make your Wicked Implement way stronger than it already is. But it doesn't stop there. We have a few more things to buff our Wicked Implement even more. So we got Whisper of Rending. So our Wicked Implement can one-shot stasis crystals that it creates with Headstone, but also it does 50% more damage to frozen targets. So just toss a couple shurikens and just start destroying them with your Wicked Implement. And then we have a couple more artifact mods here. We got one with Frost. It says while Frost Armor is active, stasis weapons gain increased reload speed and stability. Just makes your Wicked Implement feel extra good. And then we have Rapid Precision Rifling. It says rapid precision hits or final blows with scout rifles grants them increased reload speed and reduced incoming flinch. Just turns that Wicked Implement into an absolute laser beam. And now we come to our mod setup. So like I said before, triple stasis surges on our boots to just fully support that Wicked Implement. And I cannot run time dilation, which is why I'm compensating by running charged up on the chest. Because on the boots, I mean, gotta have that powerful attraction to scoop up the orbs to heal us whenever we pick up an orb. And then we also have double Reaper. Now, typically you only need to run 1 copy of Reaper, but at the rate we're dodging, 2 is going to be a lot better. So if you have 1 copy of Reaper, you can get a kill after dodging to make an orb, and then there's going to be a 10-second cooldown before you can make another. If you have 2 copies of Reaper, it's going to have a 5-second cooldown, and then 3 copies is going to be a 1-second cooldown. So technically you can run 3 copies, and every time you dodge, kill, you're going to make an orb of power every single time, which is great. But you know, you gotta have that powerful attraction. It's just too good. Makes it very easy to scoop up those orbs. And then got a couple resists on the chest, got heavy-handed for shuriken final blows to make orbs, impact induction and focusing strike because we're focused all around those shurikens. And then we got dynamo on our helmet because of the amount we're dodging around targets, and then hands-on for the shuriken spam, and of course, stasis siphon. And then for your loadout, we already went over the first 2 weapons, but in your heavy slot, just run whatever you want to, but I highly recommend running something stasis to take advantage of those triple stasis surges, the triple light shift buffs, the elemental overdrive buff, and you're doing 62% more damage with your heavy. I was using the Versus Chill Inhibitor with Bait and Switch. That's another 30% damage buff with Bait and Switch right there. And you just absolutely shred anything. It's so strong. And that pretty much does it for the build. The title of the video did not lie. It is so much fun. Try it out. You won't be disappointed. If you'd like to, the dim loadout link is down below in the description and also the pinned comment. And if you got any buddies who are Hunter mains, please consider sharing this with them. Maybe this is something they might want to try out as well. But like I said in the intro, the Mask of Fealty build I still believe is stronger than this. Like, I recovered that build at the very start of the Edge of Fate when I didn't have any new armor yet at all. So I only had 100 class stat. But if you put like 200 class stat on the Mask of Fealty build, oh my goodness, it's going to be so overpowered. That build also had infinite dodges without needing the Mask of Bakris. Like, if you're looking for a serious, powerful Stasis Hunter build, go and check that video out. I'll link it down below as well. And the Bakris build, it still hits pretty hard, but it's not going to hit as hard because, like I said, Mask of Fealty creates those Stasis crystals on the shuriken hits, so the shurikens are just going to be super overpowered. And then also Tanasha's is just generally one of the strongest weapons in the game. It's going to hit harder than the Wicked Implement, but still, Wicked Implement is no slouch. But you can even use Tanasha's or Aegir Scepter on this build. Like, you don't absolutely need to dodge after every single kill. You can dodge every other kill and just use any other stasis weapon you want, like Tanasha's. So feel free to get creative and do your own rendition of this build. Just know that the only thing you need to achieve is to pick up 2 final blows within the 10-second light shift window to be able to start chaining it. As long as you can do that, you're going to do some crazy things. And that pretty much wraps up the video. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, be sure to hit the like button and drop a comment, because doing those things helps out a ton. And if you are new here, please consider subscribing. Would love to have you here for more Edge of Fate content on the way. And I will catch you in the next video. See you later.